friends, it's Christy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would do another plan out a card with me video. I've done 2 of these in the past already and you guys seem to really enjoy that. So I thought I would do that again today. So I am kind of feeling the strawberries still. I mentioned in a video where I made this card using the brand new strawberry patch stamp set from Hello Bluebird that I have just really been into strawberries right now this summer. So I'm back in that mood, but I think I want to focus more on this other set, the sweet strawberries, which I have not used yet, and possibly the berry basket dies that just came out, which I also haven't used yet, and then maybe also pull in a few of the other mice images from the strawberry patch. So I just have like a general idea of the supplies that I want to use, but I have not figured out how I want to lay it out. I'm still not sure whether I want to use just the basket with the stamped strawberries and leaves from the sweet strawberries, or if I want to use the die cut strawberries from the berry basket. I'm still trying to decide, so we'll figure that out together as we go. But anyway, those are the supplies that I will be using to figure out today's card. So this will actually just be the prep and figuring out how I'm going to create this card, and then Friday's video will be the completed project. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive in. So I always start with a blank piece of white cardstock, and I use that as a template because this is the same exact size as a standard A2 size card. So it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, depending on which way I want to place it. I think I'm going to go this way today. So I'm just going to start pulling things out and laying them on the card and kind of figuring it out as I go. This is my process. I do this typically on Sundays every week. I figure out all my videos for the week, but this particular card, it was a really busy week. It's a no days off week for me because I'm actually filming ahead, as by the time you see this I'll actually be in Germany for a couple of weeks visiting family. So I'm prepping all these videos ahead of time, and this was a really busy week, so I went ahead and saved this one to do with you guys, and I only did the other 3 videos on Sunday. Okay, so I am going to zoom in a little bit and then start pulling out supplies. Alright, so I think I'm actually going to start with the berry basket. I'm pretty sure that I want to use that on the card, so I'm going to take that off and we'll lay that down. I like to lay the dies upside down because that's actually the way it'll look on a card. Now for something like this it doesn't matter, but for like this, well, this strawberry is hard too because it depends how you turn it. But, you know, the die cut will actually come out in reverse, so it will be facing this way. Again, because of the shape of this and the way that you can turn it, it doesn't really matter. But with some dies, it is important. So I like to lay mine in the reverse because that's just the way that it will go. So let's say we have a couple of these strawberries. I'm still not sure about whether I want to use the dies or the stamps, but I think I'm leaning toward the dies. I think it would be fun to color these in with some Distress Oxide inks. And I only have 4, so I'm going to have to die cut multiples of these. So I'm only going to get kind of an idea of how I want it to look. It's not going to be full. I'm going to have to guess at how many I need. I'll probably do, I don't know, maybe 2 of each of these, maybe 3 of the largest one, just to make sure that I have enough to fill in space. And I'm also going to leave at least 1 kind of sticking out to give me an idea, because I do want to create a full top there. I want things coming out. So we'll also take some of the leaves. Maybe we'll have a leaf sticking out somewhere that'll just be an indicator of some stuff going on, and spatially, because I need to know how big things are going to be as well so that I can figure out my sentiment spacing and all of that. We'll put a little strawberry cap on that to give it some height. We don't have to bother with the smaller ones because we know that those will be attached inside. Maybe we'll add some flowers in there. Maybe there's one, and I don't know, maybe there is one. That's just a guess for right now. All right, so let's move on to the Sweet Strawberry stamp set. I know I want to use this little guy that is hanging out at the top. And you only see a little part of him, so maybe we'll place him kind of hanging over, looking down at the basket. There's also a really cute little caterpillar in here, so maybe we'll take that guy and I don't know, he could be almost maybe sticking out. Maybe he could be like just kind of tucked behind one of the little parts of the basket, kind of crawling out of there. Maybe he got picked up with all the berries as they were being picked and now he's just making his escape. We'll put him there for now. He doesn't have to stay there. We'll figure it out. We've also got another cute little guy over here. Maybe he could go down there. Something like that. And I think I want to use the sentiment from the Sweet Strawberry stamp set as well. So we'll go ahead and put it maybe somewhere right about there. I think spatially that works. So what else do we got? I'm going to go to the Strawberry Patch stamp set next. And let's see, I really love this mice couple, but I don't know if they really work for this card. I really want something that's facing that way. So let's take this little guy, maybe this one that's holding the strawberry. Could put him there. Or does that look strange because all the other strawberries aren't stamped? Maybe we should use a different one. Let me see. See, this is what I'm talking about. It's just trial and error. Maybe, oh, you know what? I really like this little guy. Sorry, I can't show the whole set like because of the counterfeiters, but this one could kind of be cute hanging up at the top too. So maybe we've got two mice hanging out at the top. That could be cute as well. We could even have him kind of poking out from between the slats. That's another idea. Kind of like that. Maybe more towards the center there. So maybe this guy would go somewhere else. See, this is what I mean. It's just trial and error. I play around. Here's another little guy that's facing the right direction. I could put him there. That's kind of cute. I almost wonder if I want to frame this card in with a frame. So hold on one second. Let me just go through my dies and see which frame I might want to use. Okay, so I could use either the Gallery Frame 2 or the Gallery Frame 3. This one has the little scallop detail on it, and this one is more of like a postage stamp edge. It's more of like a rickrack pattern. I use this one a ton because this is my absolute favorite die in the whole entire world. This one I don't use as often, but I did just use it on a card, and I believe it is the video that you will have seen right before this one. So do I want to use it again? But these two really are the best options because they're a nice thin frame. I would only be using the outer part here, not the inner part of the frame, because I don't have room for that. So I'm just looking for something that would just, you know, make a border. I don't know. I almost feel like the Hello Bluebird Gallery Frame 2, the scallop detail of that, I think really goes sweetly with the strawberry theme. It gives me those like farmhouse vibes. It makes me think of gingham. So I'm thinking I might want to use this one. And I'm not going to bother laying it out because I can see that I have room for it because of the space that is on the edges. So that frame is going to just pull that whole focal point in even further. You know, it's just going to create a nice little frame to draw your eye even more toward what's happening in the center of the card. So I think this could work. I think I'm pretty happy with it. Do I want anything else going on? I feel like that might be good. And for as far as the frame, I could either use pattern paper or I could use just plain cardstock. I'm thinking I'm feeling more of the pinks for these, even though strawberries are typically brighter red. The other card that I did, where did I set that? That one I went with more of the red strawberries, and I really like the look of strawberries in kind of pinker tones. So I'm thinking that maybe I would use some pink Distress Oxide ink. So I'm going to go ahead and pull some of those and just see if what color palette I want to do. So I'm thinking something in the colorway of Sponge Sugar, Kitsch Flamingo, possibly some picked raspberry. It could be those three. And then if I want to add a little bit of red in there, I could add a touch of Festive Berries. So that's what I'm thinking of for the strawberries themselves. And I'd kind of just have to see how it goes. I'm just going to leave these inks set aside for that card, because I'm actually filming it tomorrow. And then for the greenery, I'll most likely use Twisted Citron and Mowed Lawn, just because those are like really bright, vibrant, fresh greens that I think are a good match for strawberries. So I'm going to go ahead and take a picture of this. That's what I always do when I have a layout in mind. So I'm just going to open up my camera and hold that over until I have it in frame. And then I will take a picture. And then I can start putting some of this stuff back away. I will also stamp out the things that I need to for the video, so I will be ready to go tomorrow. But the dies I don't need to stamp out, obviously, so I can just set those aside. We'll just move these guys out of the way for now. Put all of this back on the magnetic sheet. I know that I'm going to end up using all of the strawberries, so I don't need to keep track of which ones. I'll just stick those all back on there, and the same for all of this stuff, because we'll just die cut multiples of those. So now these are the stamps. So let me grab my Misty. Stamping with a Misty has been a total game changer for me. I used to get so frustrated stamping out images because I just could never get the ink solid enough or you know, dark enough for my liking. I like a nice bold black line, and I just could never get it how I wanted it to look. I had trouble with like the pressure using an acrylic block. So the Misty has been an absolute total game changer for me. I would never want to craft without it again. So once I have my images arranged on there, spaced out nicely so I have plenty of room to cut them out with their matching dies, I'm just going to close the door, press down to pick those up, gently pick that up, and then put that back in the corner again so I know it will be perfectly aligned. And then I'll take my Lawn Fawn Jet Black ink and just ink these guys up. Close the door of the Misty. Grab my Twiddler's Nook Pressure Pal, which helps me also to get nice even pressure. Just distributes that pressure more evenly than just your fingers, you know. Really love that handy tool. Okay, and I did not get a good impression right there, so let me press that down again. And you can see how light that is. These are also brand new stamps that have never been inked up before, so they probably have a little residue on them from the manufacturer. I did not clean them in advance, which I probably should have, but we're just going to stamp them out again. I always stamp twice, and then if I need to, I'll stamp a third time as well, just to make sure that's nice and bold. Let's take a look here. Looks like the most of these guys are looking pretty good. This little one seems a bit lighter than the others, so I'm going to ink up him, just him, one more time, just carefully over there. Using the corner of my ink pad to just get that, and then we'll press that down so everybody has the same kind of lines. And there we go. So all of my images are stamped out. So do I want to also do the die cutting today, or should I save that for the other video? I know you guys can't answer because by the time this is live I've already decided, but I'm just thinking out loud here. How much prep work do I want to do in advance? You know what? Maybe let's just go ahead and die cut things out. So I'm going to put these back on their sheet, and then I'll be back to die cut those out. Alright, so I've got a piece of Bristol smooth surface cardstock now. This is what I like to die cut all of my things out of, or what I like to use for backgrounds. Anytime I'm going to use Distress Oxide inks, this is what I like to use. The basket I'm not going to worry about right now because I'm either going to do that in white or craft depending on how I want that to look. I'm just going to worry about the berries and the elements. So I'm just going to take all of those and arrange them on my panel here. And once I have a few of them laid down, I'll grab some Post-it tape. I just keep some of it on the top that I reuse a few times until it loses its stick. We'll just tape those down to hold them in place so they don't shift and kind of bump into each other as they run through the die cutting machine. And we'll also take some flowers. Those there, and then the little green stems. Now there are some flower centers. I'm not going to die cut those now because I'm still not sure if I want to color those with Distress Oxide inks or if I want to like just die cut them out of some colored cardstock, or use Spectrum Noir cardstock and color them with Copics because they're so tiny. They would be so hard to hang on to you know, Distress Oxide. And I think if I do a tiny little bit of like Copic shading on some colored cardstock, you won't even be able to tell the difference because they're so small. So I'm going to run this through my die cutting machine. Alright, and let's just go ahead and put them in my little Twiddler's Nook embellishment tray for now. So I'm just going to collect those in there just so I have them all in one place and I don't lose any of them. Let's pick those up. And I think at least one of those is still inside. Yep, the big one right here. Okay. And then all I'm going to do is just reposition these up above and cut them out again. So just stick that through. Just trying to make the most out of that sheet of Bristol so I don't have to use two pieces. So I'm just kind of moving them and flipping them upside down up there. And then these flowers, I will just shift to a new spot where they can be cut out completely. And the same with all of these little stems. And it's possible I might have to rearrange some of these, but we'll see. So far so good. And let's see, those should fit right in there. Alright, I'll run that through again. So everything's on there. Okay. And we'll just pop everything back out. Now I probably will want to die cut a few extra of the larger leaf since there's only one die for that. I think I want to have a few extra of those. So I'll go ahead and do that off screen. You don't need to watch me die cut things over and over again because that would get a little bit repetitive. But I think I might even have some room, and if not, then I do have a few little scraps of Bristol from other things, so I can just use a smaller piece so I don't have to waste a whole one. And those still have a little bit of stick left, so I'm just going to pop them back on the top of my tape dispenser so that I can reuse those. And then we can make a decision about the pattern paper, or we can at least look through and decide if I want to use pattern paper on the frame or just like maybe a pink cardstock. I think either one could be pretty, but I think that gingham sounds like a really cool idea. So maybe I'll take a look and see if I have any gingham cardstock or pattern paper, I mean, and then I'll show you my options. All right, so I've narrowed it down to possibly 2 different paper pads. So I have this Flora number 6, which I really love, and it doesn't have, actually it does have some gingham, but it's not the color tone I was going for, but it does have some pretty pinks in here with a subtle print. So I think that could also be really cute on that frame, on that thin frame, or possibly this one. I don't know, I think that one would be prettier, so that's one option. And then I have this Simple Stories Summer Lovin' paper pad that should have a pink gingham in here, so it's like a hot pink. So that could go really well as well. Really well as well. The thing that I'm wondering about though, as much as I love the gingham, I think it could be hard to line up the frame to make sure that you see enough of the print for it to read as gingham. So I think I'm leaning towards the Flora number 6 pattern. So I think that's the one I'm going to set aside with my supplies. So we'll go ahead and put this one away. And I think we've got everything. So we've got our stamp sets figured out. We've got the die sets figured out. We've got the pattern paper. We have our images stamped and ready to go. And we have our die cuts trimmed out and ready to go. So everything is all set for filming tomorrow. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Like I said, the video where I will complete this card will be up at the end of the week. This should be a Monday video, and then the finished product will be the Friday video. But you know, just showing you guys how I go through the process of coming up with a card concept seems to have been helpful from the comments that I've received in the past when I did these. So I hope the same is true for today. Let me know down in the comments if this is something you would like me to continue to do. Like I said, I can try to do it maybe once a month or something. It's actually July when I'm filming this. Like I said, I'm going to be gone for a couple of weeks in Germany, but by the time you see it, it will be posted in August. So anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy it, and I will see you on Friday with the finished card. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.